Hi everyone, this is Surabhi from Theascape, and we are just going to go live with Nidhi. So just waiting for Nidhi to appear, and then we'll start the session today. Hey Divya, Nidhi, just wave when you join the chat. Nidhi, just wait when you wave when you join the chat so I can take you on live. So, just to give you a perspective of what today's talk is about, we will be in conversation with Nidhi Nigam. She is a clinical dietitian and a health coach, and she has been engaged in the field of therapeutic nutrition, weight management, and general health counseling for over 7 years now. So, just waiting for her to join so I can add her to the live. So yeah, we are going to be talking about women and nutrition with Nidhi today. So just waiting for her to join and also for a few more people to join in so that we can start the session today. Yeah, so Nidhi is here. Hi Nidhi, I'm adding you. Okay, it says declined for some reason, Nidhi. Adding you again. Just try and see if you can join. Yeah, I'm sending you the join link, Nidhi. Just accept it. It's saying declined again and again. So just accept the join invite.
Hi,
Yeah.
Surabhi.
Hi, Nidhi. One second, I'll just, yeah. So how are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, doing good. Really great. Glad that you've been able to join the session today.
Yes, I'm
And
really looking forward to it.
same here. So I was just introducing you to our viewers,
Mm-hmm.
and so Nidhi has been working as a clinical dietitian and a health coach for over 7 years now. And her area of expertise includes managing several metabolic health conditions like diabetes, hypertension, PCOD, thyroid, just to name a few. And she truly believes that human body is a very resilient and is very resilient and possesses the capability to self heal itself if nourished in the right way with the right kind of food. Is that so,
Right.
Nidhi?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So tell us a little more about yourself, Nidhi, to the viewers, and
Sure.
share
So,
something also about the topic today.
so we'll talk everything that involves women health because
Yeah,
we really tend to neglect ourselves, and then when we reach a deadlock is when we start panicking, and
yeah,
also this whole weight loss, parade, as we call it.
yeah,
So women lose out on a lot of nutrition because they're trying to chase a particular goal in terms of number on the scale, in terms of a particular size for their dresses. So they tend to lose out on a lot of nutrition.
Yeah.
and then becomes a case of malnutrition. And just a quick background as to why did I get into this is, I've been on the other side of the table as well. So,
Hmm.
at one point of time, I myself was obese and struggled with obesity for the longest time. And I literally made my body a football, weight gain, weight loss. I've been a customer to all these slimming chains at some point of time, and done this shakes and pills and powders, and only
Haven't
to
we
realize
all
that
been there?
yeah, so it doesn't work at all. And
Yeah.
eventually then my own quest to this field kind of pulled me towards it, and that's how I kind of started my journey.
Yeah.
And so this is where I am, from trying
Yeah.
to help myself to now helping others. So um, just give me a minute, Surbi, so
Yeah.
that I make myself unavailable to the phone calls.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So people who are joining us, I can see Shaina, Vandana. Hi to
Yes.
everyone, and feel free to leave questions if you have any through the conversation here. Nidhi will be happy to take those as well. But till then, we have a few questions too for Nidhi, so we'll start with those. So Nidhi, like you rightly said, that more often the conversation or the debate around women's diet and health is to do with weight loss or weight management. And nutrition, as such, kind of somewhere takes a back seat. So, what are the scope and the implication, uh, when it comes to women's health and nutrition? And what are the kind of major health issues that women in general face and they come to you to sort of deal with those?
Yeah. So let's just look at the scope in terms of what I deal with has really increased over the years. So
Hmm.
earlier women were just running for weight loss, and now what has happened is, so earlier, like when we were young, we
Yeah.
didn't have access to so much of Google and social media. So we would either go to books or to somebody who's qualified. But now, because of Google giving you answers for everything under the sun,
Hmm.
people end up doing a lot of wrong stuff, which then ends up as malnourishment, number one.
Hmm.
It can cause hormonal imbalance. So we see a lot of PCOS. So 1 in 5 women, it's become like an iron deficiency in India. So we see a lot
Hmm.
of PCOS cases. We see a lot of diabetes, hypertension, thyroid, insomnia, fatigue. um,
That's
these
right.
are the issues that we keep seeing. So much so, the deficiencies have become so much that women are actually going through amenorrhea, where they don't get their periods at all. There's iron
Hmm.
deficiency, there's vitamin deficiency. So in the rut of losing weight, they end up losing their health, and that
Yeah.
then leads to a lot of irritation, and not being able to um, fulfill their work responsibilities, not being able to manage their house. So it just takes a toll on the overall health of a woman then. So this is
That's
what
right.
we're currently dealing with.
Yeah. So, like you rightly mentioned that these days we've started facing a lot of issues like PCOS and fatigue, insomnia, so many other things. And a lot of these health issues were kind of unknown to, say, a generation of women, one or two generations before us. So,
Right.
what is it that we are missing, in our diets or in our lifestyle, which they weren't?
So honestly, Surbi, we're actually missing out on the basic ingredients. We're missing out on food now, and also, like you said, lifestyle. So we'll take it one by one. Yeah. So let's talk about food first. Um, our generation, our mothers and our grandmothers, they actually ate real food.
Yeah.
When the food was not adulterated, when the vegetables were freshly grown and available to us. So one is that, over the years, the soil quality has really depleted because of the pesticides, because of the chemicals that we've been using to increase the yield. That's
Yeah.
one. And then there is adulteration to increase the yield. And then the biggest game spoiler is that we have developed fear of food. Our relationship with food has spoiled,
Yeah.
If you remember when we went out for family functions with our parents, we never heard any woman saying, "Oh, I'm on a diet, I will not eat this." You know, so you hear this the max in outings,
Yeah.
and then you see families making different meals. Just to give you, so today, since we're celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi,
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
so surprised. If you go to social media, everybody's saying, "Oh, sugar-free modaks, no rice flour modak, besan
Mhm.
modak." So what we're doing is we're just developing that fear of food. We've
Yeah.
kind of forgotten moderation. Either we
Mhm.
don't eat or we binge eat. There is no balance. That it's just
Mhm.
extreme. Either
Yeah.
we're not eating or we're just overeating because we've deprived ourselves of food, and then when we eat our mind plays upon us, so we end up overeating, and so
Overeating.
we are either on this goalpost or on this goalpost. We're never in balance. So that
Yeah.
is the food issue that we face. So for example, I see people uh, not eating anything like a whole grain because that will cause them weight gain. They haven't eaten an ice cream. They haven't so deprivation, right? So we
Yeah.
ourselves deprived of food, and which is why deficiencies. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to talk about is lifestyle. So, our mothers, at least till I was in class 11. So we got our first washing machine when I was in class 11. So they washed
Mhm.
clothes, they
Yeah.
walked, they sat down and cooked. They were physically much more active. Now, what
Yeah.
we do is, of course, and I see this, with my clients day in and day out. They go to the most expensive gyms, and they buy the most expensive clothes for gymming, and they work out, but the other 23 hours they're just like a couch potato. So
Mm.
the food comes to them at their bed sometimes. They're just too tired to move around. They have domestic help. uh, I think even if we had domestic help when we were kids, it was typically for maybe just the cleaning of the house and cleaning of the kitchen. But now
Mhm.
we have a maid for, and including me, of course. Now we have a maid for dusting, we have a maid for vegetable chopping, we have the concept of cooks, folding
Yeah.
clothes, everything. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
lifestyle has obviously changed, and that put together is causing so much issues. Now, when we
Mm.
take these, for example, let's take an example of milk. We
Mm.
take Nandini milk in Bangalore. Yeah.
Mm.
Now, this is the milk, which is, so for example, it's a cooperative society. So anybody who's a milk vendor has a leftover milk can offer it to Nandini, and they accept it because they have more demand than the supply,
Mm.
right? So it's been lying with the vendor for good 8 to 10 hours. Then it goes there. It is already, spoiled, and that's the kind of food. Then it comes to
We
us.
were. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Mm.
one, we are deprived of nutrition from the source itself,
Mm.
and
Mm.
two, we deprive ourselves.
Mm. Mm.
And
Yeah.
that is why, so, we didn't know what PCOD was in our growing years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and now what has happened is, and of course, we didn't have so many kind of chips and maybe,
Just
a
food
couple
and
of brands. Yeah.
yeah.
So we have so many options. Um, so instead of eating good fat, girls, when they're attaining puberty, they either deprive themselves of food totally because they want that particular zero size because they have peer pressure,
Mm.
or
Yeah.
they end up eating wrong fat, and thereby they develop this hormonal imbalance and deficiencies. Now, that's the time when they should be storing. Our body is like a bank, especially a
Mm.
woman's body, because once you attain puberty, you are literally preparing your body um, for these hormones, for your pregnancies, but instead of preparing, we start spoiling our body. So that's where
Yeah.
we are.
True.
Yeah,
True.
does that answer your question?
Yes, yes. So moderation, I mean, whatever our previous generations were eating, so the moderation part is very important for us,
Yes,
uh, whether it is meat or fats or whatever, but in moderation.
absolutely.
Don't deprive yourself completely of it. And then, of course, a more active lifestyle, which we've kind of
Staying active throughout the day.
for the
Yes,
day.
staying
Yeah,
active
instead of
throughout the
just
day.
for that 1 hour of exercising in the gym or wherever,
Right.
staying active through the day. So,
Yeah.
that kind of brings up another question that uh, these days a lot of fad diets, keto, intermittent fasting, vegan diet, so many of these diets that we keep hearing of. So, which is kind of a good diet, so to say, for us? And
Yeah.
are these just fads, or is there diets?
Yeah. Like I said, this weight loss industry. Now, first of all,
Hmm.
let's understand that nutrition is the most recent science. Okay, it's still
Hmm.
evolving, and hence today fat becomes bad, and tomorrow fat will become good. And earlier sugar was demon. Sorry, fat was demon, and now sugar is demon. Someday carb becomes demon. So it's still evolving, and there's a lot of research going on, right?
Yeah.
And because of that, people have exploited this industry, So, for
Hmm.
example, I will take, one by one. So, you mentioned keto.
Hmm.
Now, keto is a diet which is high fat, moderate protein, and almost negligible carb. One, it does
Hmm.
not go well with our Indian eating style or world over, So we may be eating roti and rice in our diet.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
eat different kind of breads and pastas and noodles. So carbs is a mandatory part. So can you make it as your lifestyle? Obviously, you can't. In your
Hmm.
desperation, if you do it for a couple of months, obviously you will lose weight, and the
Hmm.
moment you get back, you will gain back. So that's on weight loss. Now, more than that, this diet was never designed for weight loss. This is a diet which is given for epileptic children, for
Oh,
children
really?
who are dealing with autism. Yes, it's a medical diet. They give
My
them,
God.
they give them supplements of fat. So these
Okay.
children are hospitalized, yeah,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they're given this kind of high fat under medical supervision. So if you've seen any autistic child or any epileptic child, their physical movement is very, very imbalanced.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So when this kind of fat is given to them, their body responds well. So keto was a diet or is a diet for that. You go to any hospital or any qualified nutritionist, they will outrightly deny that, I mean, outrightly say a big no that we're not going to put you on keto. So this is
Hmm.
totally, totally a fad when it comes to weight loss. Now, coming
Okay.
to intermittent fasting works well with people who have insulin resistance. See, because
Okay.
the moment you eat, body releases insulin. So, if you eat lesser time, obviously there
Hmm.
is lesser insulin release in the body. Again, this is a lifestyle. So, typically, if you talk about IF, we follow a window of 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of sleeping. Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas, if you look at it, typically we sleep for about 8 hours and we, snack and eat and in the remaining hours.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right? Now, are you someone who can actually, continue to eat this way for rest of your life? That's
Hmm.
not eat for 16 hours and just eat in an 8-hour window, because you may have
Hmm.
late night working schedule, you may have socializing. um, IF can be a good practice as a lifestyle, but not as a weight loss tool.
Hmm.
Okay. So IF also, if you get, so for example, if you look back, Jains used to eat pre-sunset,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
lifestyle. Yeah. So if you're
Hmm.
somebody who use that as a lifestyle for rest of your life, go ahead and do IF. It would have a lot of benefits. Yeah.
Hmm.
Work well with hormonal imbalance as well, but not only for 2 months that, okay, I have a party and I need my black dress, so I will do it for 2 months. It's going to backfire. So it doesn't work like that. Yeah. Now coming to vegan and paleo and Mediterranean, these are good diets because these days we're missing out on our plant-based food. We're missing out on fiber, on vegetables because people who are non-vegetarian, they just want to eat non-vegetarian. Yeah. So these are the diets which bring in a lot of vegetables and fiber and plant-based stuff to your diet. With vegan, of course, you quit dairy as well. Now, again, it's a lifestyle. Okay, India is the largest producer of, India is a country which is the largest producer of milk, and we as Indians have grown up drinking milk and milk products. So if you are someone who's not fond of milk, who's not fond of curd, and can do away with it, well, try it for yourself. But I would say it's always a good idea to have dairy, especially for women, because our needs of calcium, our needs of magnesium, is very high, and dairy is a very good source. So for your calcium, for your protein, for your magnesium, it is a very, very good source. So unless you're somebody who has lactose intolerance, I would say go ahead and add dairy to your diet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look for A2. There's always a confusion about A2 and A1. So A1 is nothing but the Jersey cow milk. And A2 desi milk, which is something which has more nutrients, which is more pure, which is more thin. So A2 milk is always better. So when it's A2, it's that doodh wala bhaiya who comes to give home milk home. So if you get that, definitely go ahead and have milk and curd and paneer.
So you just mentioned, about nutritional deficiencies like calcium, magnesium, and everything. So we are seeing a lot of these nutritional deficiencies, and a lot has to do with the kind of diet we just mentioned that we've moved to. So, and we also see a lot of, that there's a vitamin C pill off the shelf, a calcium pill off the shelf, just pop it, the vitamin D's. So there's a lot of confusion regarding that also, that are these supplements really something that will benefit us, or is there something in our diet that we can change to kind of have these nutritions through those diets rather than just popping the pills? So what about that?
Okay, so see, we do. This is a known fact now that we have vitamin and mineral deficiency, men, women alike, even kids now. Yeah. One, because the way we eat. Two, because of the food adulteration. Yes, if you're eating a versatile diet, and if your gut is okay. Okay, so earlier we used to say you are what you eat, but now we say you are what you digest. Okay, because what happens is you may be eating, but if you're not digesting, if you don't have good gut flora, the food is not getting absorbed, the nutrients are not getting absorbed. So you need to have diverse food so that you have diverse gut flora, and then whatever food you're eating is getting absorbed. Okay, now let's say if you're just eating 3 vegetables and you just rotate them. I see them with a lot of my clients. And if we talk about North Indians, it is either bengan or bhindi or gobi. And aloo, of course. Sabziyon ka raza. So this is what it rotates, right? Now, there's only so much that these vegetables would have. If you need variety, you need to have more vegetables. So if you're from a family where you eat all vegetables, you eat all grains, uh, then you pretty much don't need your multivitamin. But since we say that there is adulteration and that there is, that families are being very, very choosy about what they eat, a multivitamin isn't bad. Number one. Number two, let's talk, since we're talking about women health, calcium becomes of utmost importance, because you need it for your bones, you need it for your pregnancy, you need it for your menopause, because, that's the time when you become osteoporosis. So you need to eat very, very good food at the age of 25 to 28, because that's the time when your bones are, mineralizing, we call it. So it is
Mm-hmm.
able to absorb all the calcium that is needed. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then at the age of 28, 29, it just closes. Yeah.
Okay.
So after that, whatever calcium that you're eating is only for sustenance.
Okay.
What between 25 to 28. So it's very, very important for women who are in their late 20s to eat the right kind of food, because
Kind of.
one, they
Yeah.
need to, use that as their bank balance for rest of their
Mm-hmm.
pregnancy and their hormones and their later life. And beyond that, you are eating for sustenance. So you need to make sure that you're eating, you are having dairy, you are having pulses, you are having nuts and seeds, which are very, very good source of calcium around that age. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your vitamin C and zinc, which is the need of the hour, and vitamin D.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
yes, we're resorting to, supplements, because vitamin C is one vitamin which is highly perishable. So the moment, earlier we used to drive a lot of happiness when you cut your vegetable very finely. I cut my
Mm-hmm.
tomatoes very finely, but what we
Mm-hmm.
don't realize is each time the knife comes in contact with tomato, you're losing vitamin C.
Okay.
Okay, so vitamin C is that highly perishable. So
Mm-hmm.
vitamin C, amla is the only source which you can pickle, you can do a murabba, and the vitamin C remains intact.
The same.
And
Okay.
the kind of vitamin C that we need right now because of COVID-19,
Hmm.
yes, we can have a supplement, but an ongoing basis, if it's a balanced diet, you will get your vitamin C, you will get your vitamin D, you will get your vitamin B, the whole, B1, B2, B3, B6, and B12. But you need to make sure that you're eating everything. So, for example, your wheat and your
Hmm.
grains and your millets are extremely important, because that's where your vitamin B's are, and they
Hmm.
are the basic vitamins that the human body needs for all the complex metabolic arrangements. So you need vitamin B. You need all the vegetables, because that's where your vitamin C comes from. Now, vitamin D is a very tricky vitamin. There have been studies, which have come out, and maybe soon enough we would be calling it a hormone, because it
Okay.
has about 800 functions in human body.
Hmm.
Our hormones need vitamin D for proper functioning. Our brain needs it. Cholesterol. So
Hmm.
a whole lot of requirement that we have with vitamin D, and
Hmm.
vitamin D, as we know it as sunshine vitamin.
Hmm.
So what happens is, when you are exposed to the sunlight, the
Hmm.
cholesterol of your body converts into vitamin D. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Hmm.
unfortunately, Asian sunlight is not you know uh, that well to convert it. Also, we because of our complexion, we cover ourselves totally with sunscreen, and we wear
Hmm.
full
Hmm.
sleeve tanning
Yes.
now.
Yes.
So we that's why we become vitamin D deficient.
Hmm.
Dietary sources are limited when it comes to vitamin D. So your dairy and your eggs are pretty much the source of vitamin D. So
Okay.
vitamin D supplement, yes, can do good, especially for women, because even if you bathe in calcium, but if you're deficient in vitamin D, the calcium will not be absorbed. So it's a good
Hmm.
idea to check your levels first, and then
Hmm.
if you're deficient, especially for vitamin D, you can look at a supplement. But for the others, like your magnesium, for example, for women who are always cranky, not getting sleep, fatigued,
Yeah.
dealing with
Hmm.
insomnia, getting cramps, they are definitely magnesium deficient. So they
Hmm.
must make sure that they are adding green leafy vegetables, they're adding nuts and seeds, they're adding variety of grains. And within 20 days, if they do this consciously, they see change. All my women clients
Hmm.
see a change. They're able to
Wow.
sleep better, not so
Hmm.
irritated. They don't have so much of mood swings, because it's the magnesium which is playing. So what are
Okay.
the most important vitamins for women is your calcium,
Hmm.
magnesium, vitamin D, B12. I mean, of course, all the vitamins and minerals are very important, but these are the vitamins which top the chart, you know. So
Yeah.
to make sure that we are getting all of it through our versatile
Diet. Yeah. So we have a question here by Suman Jaiswal, and she's saying that I am a vegetarian, and so
diet.
I include a lot of soya chunks for my protein intake. I have read somewhere recently that it interferes with our hormonal balance, the soya chunks. So is it a fact? Please guide.
So soya, yes, you know, it has earned a bad name. It is a
Hmm.
plant-based protein,
Hmm.
and it has something called phytoestrogen, which
Okay.
mimics the working of estrogen, which is a women hormone.
Yeah.
Estrogen is actually the elixir of life for women, you know, as we
Hmm.
call it. However, you need to have about half a kg of soya on daily basis for it to disturb your system.
Really good. Huh, huh, huh.
So if you're having, let's say, you know, if you're having soya chunk ka sabzi, if you're having
Hmm.
soya ka roti, and please understand that soya is also high in fat. So 100 grams of soya gives you 432 milligrams of fat as well. So a defatted soya, which is your soya chunk, if you're having that, and let's say, how much will you eat? About 20 soya chunks in a meal,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's not more than 30 grams.
Okay.
It's very lightweight. So,
Yeah.
so you can definitely have soya. But if you are someone who has thyroid, then you may want to be careful because it is
Hmm.
cruciferous also. So you just may want to be
Hmm.
careful. But
Hmm.
otherwise, from estrogen perspective, if you are eating large quantities on daily basis, uh, you know it's going to only harm then, which is half kg, which possibly you cannot eat. A box of soya chunks is 200 grams. You can't eat
Hmm.
that much as look at other sources of protein, Suman. So you could look at dairy, you could look at drumstick leaves, you could look at your nuts and seeds. These are all, you know, your pulses and your whole grains, your legumes, sprouts. They're a very good source of protein. So do a mix and match rather than just
Hmm.
relying on soya.
So yeah, that's nice. So Nidhi, like we see a lot of women going through the PMS symptoms, and I was wondering if there are some kind of dietary changes that could help deal with the PMS.
Yes. So yeah, that's the biggest challenge that all of us go through. Yeah. So
Hmm.
uh, you know, 3 in 4 women who are in their
Hmm.
menstruating cycle in
Hmm.
their years, they have PMS. So we're talking about 75% of women struggling with PMS, and we have a large variety of symptoms. You know, one woman could be bloated, the other one could be
Yes.
fatigued, the other could be getting cramps,
Hmm.
and this uh, mainly to do with food. Now, I'm sure, Surbi, you would have also heard that, you know, I am PMSing, I am craving for
Yes.
sweet, and I want to eat sweet. Yeah. So please
Absolutely.
understand that it's not really a sweet craving. It is that you're not eating enough protein. Insufficient protein would always
Hmm.
manifest as sweet craving. Now,
Okay.
and your PMS starts setting in from day, so we have 4 weeks, right? So our cycle
Hmm.
is considered as 28 days. Day 1 to day 7 is the time when your estrogen is peaking up. You've
Hmm.
got your charm. So, you know, you're beginning to get yourself, there's no irritation. Then you have
Hmm.
day 8 to 14, which is when your estrogen and testosterone have peaked up. So you're happy, everything's fine. Now, day 15 onwards is the problem. Now, you have to
Hmm.
make sure that from day 12, you get on track in terms of eating. So,
Hmm.
one, a banana between 4 to 6 p.m. because it has
Okay.
good magnesium, good
Hmm.
carbohydrate, takes care of your sweet cravings. So make sure
Hmm.
that you're having a banana. Make
Hmm.
sure that you're having ghee in all your meals.
Hmm.
One
Hmm.
teaspoon in your breakfast, in your lunch, in your dinner. Now, what it does is it keeps you full so that you
Hmm.
don't crave and you get your essential fatty acids. So, what do you need around that time? You need magnesium. So, just now we spoke about magnesium, the sources of
Hmm.
magnesium. So, you definitely need magnesium for your stomach cramps, for your fatigue, for your
Hmm.
irritation. You need magnesium. So make sure that you're eating all that we discussed just now, the nuts and the seeds and the whole grains, legumes. You need to eat your leafy vegetables. You need your, so carbs become your go-to food. Now, unfortunately, when we want to eat carbs, we reach out to our biscuit dabbas and you
Yeah.
eat one, you want to eat two more. Now, if you are somebody who can work on moderation and if you can stop at one, then maybe, with your evening chai, one biscuit, I wouldn't say you need to completely cut down. But because of that sweet craving, if you finish the whole pack, your symptoms are only going to get aggravated. So you need to make sure you're adding 1 tablespoon of nuts and seeds to your diet. You're adding black raisins. You are adding a banana. You're adding ghee to your diet, and you're being physically active. Now, some women, the moment they crave for that sweet, they immediately reach out to that dabba of laddu or biscuit or
Yes.
cookie or chocolate. What they need to do is they need to drink a glass of water and wait for next 10 minutes for it to pass. Also, they can eat, a sweet cardamom, hara elaichi, so that can affect like a sweet.
Wow.
So when you have that, it releases dopamine. So there's a feel good
You
factor.
feel like you've had the sweet instead of really
Yes,
having it.
brain,
Wow.
your brain recognizes it as dopamine. So instead of your craving, you eat a cardamom and make
Hmm.
sure that there is good amount of protein going into your body in the form of paneer, curd. If you are a non-vegetarian, then meat, eggs in your breakfast,
Hmm.
dal or rajma, chole. If you're involving all this, your sweet cravings, your irritation, and your mood swings will be taken care of. Now, if you're
Hmm.
somebody who's been chronically deficient in magnesium and experiences a lot of these cramps in the night when you're sleeping, or not able to fall asleep, or feeling fatigued, those are the chronic cases where we just look at a magnesium supplement. Otherwise, if you're eating, a whole versatile diet, what we've discussed, you will feel much better in the coming cycles.
Hmm. So day 12 is where we start really every month,
Yes,
right?
yes, because that's where we start saying I'm PMSing. So, because now the hormones again, start going back, estrogen's going down, your body is preparing. So day 12 to day 28, or till the day you get your periods, are because some women just sail through it, some women have mild symptoms, some women really very cranky. So
Yeah.
they need to just have a calendar and say, okay, day 12, I need to now start because I don't want to suffer,
Hmm.
because day
So we
21 onward this picks up.
Yeah. So we have a kind of a similar question here by Rahat Mahajan. They say that during menopause, there are women
Mhm.
who are having a lot of hormonal changes and hence a lot of mood swings, etc. So any advice for them to help them with the dietary change at that time, menopausal stage?
Yes. So menopause, every woman has 3 stages, right? So there's menarche, you start your periods, and then there is, your whole reproductive cycle, and then the cessation of period, which is your menopause. Now, what's happening in menopause is your estrogen has declined by 50%, your
Hmm.
testosterone has declined by 50%, and your progesterone has gone down by 70 to 90%. And that's
Yeah.
why hot flashes and deficiencies and mood swings. So, one is omega 3. Omega 3 is of extreme importance when it comes to menopause. So, flax seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds. If you are a non vegetarian, then oily fish. If you're
Hmm.
not a non-vegetarian, or if you can't even take these seeds, then a
Hmm.
omega-3 supplement. Um,
Hmm.
Evening primrose oil helps you a great deal. So either you
Okay.
take it in the form of a capsule of primrose oil, or you take the oil itself. You add protein, you add calcium, because now is the time when the body is going through these changes. You're becoming very irritative, for everything, and you're getting these hot flushes.
Hmm.
You how to deal with it, and it is more to do with your food, and you have to make sure that you are increasing your water intake. because body is
Hmm.
also going through a lot of dryness, and we
Yeah.
don't really realize it. Yeah. So like I said, omega 3, your vitamins, your minerals, and primrose oil and your B6, vitamin B6 is very, very important. So your whole grains, your roti, your rice, your bajra, jawar, all this becomes very, very important at that time.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So, another question by Rahat Mahajan is that women mostly in the late 40s and 50s trying to lose weight have a hard time losing weight even after rigorous exercise, diet control, and everything. So, obviously, there's a slowing metabolism that could be a reason. But any advice, especially for losing belly fat?
Okay, see, we need to understand anybody who claims for a spot reduction
Hmm.
is, just trying to fool you. So, human body is like a computer. We call it a biocomputer, and it's the most intelligent computer in the universe. Okay, so when you
Hmm.
start losing weight, though it may be slow at the age of 40 or 50, and slow weight loss is always the weight loss which is good, which is not
Good.
going to come back. Yeah.
Hmm.
So when you start losing weight, the body will lose weight from everywhere,
Hmm.
hands, legs, thighs, belly, everything. Uh, but so what happens, especially for women,
Hmm.
we've gone through childbirth.
Hmm.
Our skin had expanded, our uterus had expanded, and so our muscles are loose. So we need to tighten, and we need to do a lot of toning through our exercises. But that's the second step, only
Hmm.
when we're able to lose fat. Now, when we say that we're doing rigorous exercise and we're doing diet, what we don't realize is when you're doing diet per se, you have to journal your food, because you may be thinking you're dieting, you may be thinking you're eating less, but
Hmm.
especially for women, my child has left something and I don't want it to go to the dustbin.
That's
I end
it.
up eating it. I have made something, and so I must taste it before I give it to others. So I
Yeah.
end up eating that. So if you journal and if you actually
Hmm.
note down what's your food intake, where are your trigger points, where are you eating extra, how much water are you drinking, what's your exercise, this thing. I have had a lot of clients in the age of 45 to 55 who have lost weight beautifully, have been able to tighten their belly fat. Now there are a few drinks which works well, which these days we call as kadha for
Hmm.
immunity. These are the drinks. So,
Hmm.
for example, haldi, ginger, nutmeg, cinnamon. If you boil
Hmm.
all of that together, it
Hmm.
helps you boost your metabolism and thereby promote fat loss to a certain extent if your calories are in check. So maybe
Hmm.
Rahat can try this, this
Yeah.
Kara. This video is available on my YouTube link as well. So they can just,
Okay.
check and help.
Yes, you mentioned your YouTube link, and I must say I've been following your YouTube channel for a very long time, Nidhi, and you have been posting some very good videos there and
Thank
a lot of
you.
mythbusters too. So I think it would be great if you can leave links to your Facebook page and your YouTube channel in the comments section, so people watching the live can benefit from those as well.
Sure.
And also links to your I mean how if they wish to reach out to you for any kind of consultation, please feel free to leave those links in the comments. And now like we've been talking about childbirth, and so that kind of brings me to another question, that childbirth is also a very challenging time for a woman's body. So is there what kind of a nutritional pattern should be followed before and after childbirth?
Right. So that's a very important stage in a woman's life. Yeah. So earlier,
Yeah.
if you would have heard our grannies and moms talking, oh no, you need to eat for two. You need to eat for
Yeah.
two. So of course that approach was wrong. And what
Huh.
we're following right now is also a wrong approach.
Huh.
So for example, as there's a
Huh.
baby in making, and the needs um, are about 300 to 350 calories extra. But
Okay.
one is we go overboard, and two, again, these cravings that we talk in pregnancy are psychological.
Hmm.
And if there are real cravings, if you're really craving, let's say, women whom I've really seen going through the real craving, they actually end up, eating the soil from the plant. They eat chalk that we use for writing
Yeah,
on the board.
yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
that's calcium deficiency. Um,
Okay.
Sweet is typically your protein, so you need to again make sure that since there is a baby in making and we are made up of all protein, each
Hmm.
cell is made up of protein. We need to make sure that there is protein in all your meals, from your
Hmm.
breakfast to your lunch to your dinner. Yeah, so you need to,
Hmm.
so if you are a meat eater or if you're an egg eater, your best bet
Hmm.
is to have eggs in your breakfast, have some kind of meat, lean meat, of course, chicken or fish in your lunch, and have either a dal or a rajma or something in your dinner. So make sure that you have all in all three meals you have that, to get your good vitamins and minerals. You have your nuts and seeds, and you need to increase the amount of calories in that form, rather than having those fried snacks and
Yes.
having
Hmm.
sweets and mithais and chocolate. So whenever you need to increase your calories, you need to add, let's say, paneer as your snack. So,
Hmm.
I always advise women to have, do a shallow fry paneer tikka at home for your evening snack when you're pregnant. So you get your, nutrient rich snack. You snack on a fruit. When you're snacking on a fruit, have nuts and seeds with it. So just a, handful of some almonds, cashews, pistachios, walnut, along with, a few of sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, flaxseed will do just amazing while you are on your journey of pregnancy. This is during the 9 months of pregnancy.
Hmm.
Yeah, and every trimester you need to up your intake. So don't always up your intake in the form of carbs. So don't say, अच्छा ठीक है, दो रोटी बढ़ा लेती हूँ या एक
Yeah.
रोटी बढ़ा लेती
Hmm.
हूँ.
Hmm.
Instead of that, increase your dal. Instead of that, increase your the sabzis. And of course, you will go as your roti and chawal as your base, but you need to increase the other side dishes. So make sure that 3/4 of your plate during that time is
Hmm.
protein and fiber, which are your vegetables, and then 1/4 is your carbs. Yeah, so that's on your plate while you're going through your pregnancy. Now, when you've given birth and when you start the journey of breastfeeding, that's when your requirement is slightly even more, because you're breastfeeding, and the child is dependent totally on that for the next 4 or 5 months. So you
Yes.
need about 4 to 500 extra calories
Hmm.
to be able to, uh, you know, get good quality milk.
Hmm.
Yeah. So sometimes we see that the child is not thriving, the child is not growing as much as we would want him. And that's when the doctor says, go on formula. Yeah. But if
Hmm.
the woman is eaten well through the pregnancy and is eating well now, the milk quality will be very good and the child will be able to really grow well. So what you
Hmm.
need to do, then we need to go back to conventional food. Yeah. The panjiri and the laddus that we've
Yeah.
always seen, is
Hmm.
a wonderful. I've eaten in both my pregnancies and I've really enjoyed eating it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Uh, and now, of course, especially we, as North Indians, we were always into atta. But now
Yes.
there are even better options. So, for
Hmm.
example, my clients who are breastfeeding, I get them to do the same panjiri with ragi, because ragi is a sport which has abundance of iron and calcium, and that's
Yeah.
what they need. Yeah. So
Hmm.
I give them panjiri, I give them ragi laddu, and that is the time when they need to add a lot of garlic in their diet, a lot of zira in their diet,
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
lot of simple gum, which we call as gond. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
uh, 3 glasses of milk are non-negotiable for a woman who's, lactating.
Hmm.
The panjiri or the laddu, one in the morning, one in the evening. Again, portion control, because it is very tasty. So you can't
Hmm.
go over because it's very tasty. So that, and a lot of green leafy vegetables around that time are the key.
Hmm.
Lot of green leafy vegetables, because you need your vitamins, minerals. Um, you yourself are kind of tired, you yourself have gone through
Mm.
childbirth,
Yes.
recovery stage, but now there's a child that you need to take care of. So you need to
Mm.
make sure that you're eating well, you're eating every 1.5 to 2 hours, and make sure that just before you breastfeed, you take a glass of milk, glass of
Mm.
water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that's a very nice tip. So, you kind of touched upon fatigue and insomnia and how important magnesium is to kind of overcome it. So, I think it's a common issue. Like, even I, these days, during lockdown, I've been facing a lot of fatigue. Like, when you wake up from the bed, you're not really as active and energetic as you would want to be. So even though you've slept your good amount number of hours, you're still a little fatigued. So fatigue and insomnia, apart from magnesium, are there any other nutritional deficiencies too that lead to it, and some tips on how to deal with that?
So one is if sorry, so
Yeah.
one is if you're not physically active, you may
Hmm.
have completed your number of hours of sleep, but it's not
Hmm.
a restful sleep.
Hmm. Hmm.
So make sure that you've been active through the day, because
Hmm.
if you're not active, you may hit the sack, but it's a very disturbed sleep.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. So that's one. Number two is very important to have a light dinner. So for example, if you have a heavy breakfast, which is,
Hmm.
let's say, in a range of 8 to 10 in a normal Indian family, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now, even
Hmm.
if you look at your afternoon nap, if women, do take that afternoon nap, that's about 2 to 2:30. So we still have 4 to 5 hours. And of
Hmm.
course, your proper sleep is like 10 hours away. Same is the case
Hmm.
with lunch. On an average, we eat lunch between 12:30 to 2, and we sleep around 10 o'clock. So there's a gap of 8 hours. But when you look at your lunch, you eat your lunch at 7 to 9, and you're off to bed by 10:30. Now, if you're not
Hmm.
eating a light dinner, you will not have a proper sleep, and thereby you will
Hmm.
end up getting up the next morning fatigued and not feeling fresh. So
Hmm.
that's the main leverage you may want to look at that. Number
Hmm.
two is vitamin B12 and vitamin D. These are two very, very important vitamins, which
Hmm.
sometimes can cause that forgetfulness, that fatigue, that cramps. When you get up in the morning, you're just not your usual self. You're not very fresh. So
Hmm.
B12 and vitamin D. Now, for B12, again, like I said, like with vitamin D and B12, if you're eating a versatile diet, you will get it.
Hmm.
You may want to add a slice of cheese, between from your breakfast to your lunch window, which gives you vitamin B12, which is a good source of
Okay.
vitamin B12. Feta cheese is the best option if we are talking about B12.
Hmm.
And of course, if you're a non-vegetarian, then meat and a little bit of dairy, that should help. So look at your
Hmm.
D, B12, look at how physically active you are, and
Hmm.
definitely look at your dinner.
Hmm.
If
A
you're
lighter
having a
dinner.
yeah, if you're having a heavier dinner, and if you're having a late dinner, make sure that there's a 3 hour gap.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. And try and have a banana in the evening, a small banana.
Hmm.
Yeah. That helps you to induce good sleep.
Hmm.
The other way, just before you hit the sack, soak your feet in hot water.
Hmm.
And if you have essential oil like a lavender oil or a mint oil, few drops of that, just put it and soak your feet for 5 to 10 minutes, and then massage your feet with pure ghee, and you sleep like a baby.
Oh wow.
Try that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're kind of coming towards the end of the 1 hour. So just before we leave, what are like the top five dietary recommendations from you for women? Like whatever age they are, whatever age group or whatever, but top five dietary tips that will help women maintain a good health, and their nutrients and everything can be taken care of.
Yeah. So first and foremost, don't fall for diets. Don't fall for fat diets. You know, you have GM diet, cabbage diet, paleo diet. I mean, you know, the list is just too
One.
huge. Yeah. So don't fall for those fat diets. Make sure that, you know, you should be able to look at your plate and see, okay, I have food from all food groups. So I have sabzi also, I have dal or meat also, I have roti or chawal. So once your plate looks like a rainbow, like a
Mm,
colorful plate, uh, you will get everything. So one is don't fall for fat diets. Two,
mm,
cut down on your refined carbs and added sugar. So
mm,
during this lockdown, we've seen you know, everybody's tried their hands on cakes and samosas at home, golgappas at home. Yeah. So make sure that you're cutting down on all those. So please understand, food is not your friend. Food is not a stress buster. Food is
mm,
fuel. Like you
mm,
generally don't put petrol in your car just because you like it. You know,
true.
it is typically the
Mm,
same with you and food. Food is fuel for
mm,
your body. So eat
mm,
as and when necessary. And these charts and sweets and junk um, are just a feel good factor.
mm,
So just you know, I tell all my clients to do this experiment. People who crave for, let's say, a chocolate. So I tell
mm,
them, okay, today you have 1 cube of chocolate and wait for 5, 7 minutes. And then you feel the taste of your mouth, and you would realize that the taste is back to normal. And
mm,
after 2 hours, have the whole big again, you will see that again your taste your mouth taste is back to normal. So you need to train your mind, whether it is one
mm.
cube or 1 5 minutes later, I'm going to be back to it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
cut down on refined and added sugar. Don't fall for fat diet. Add good fat. Don't fall for zero fat or low fat.
Mm,
You need to have fat in your diet in the form of
mm,
omega, in the form of good seeds oil. Yeah.
mm, mm,
Avoid refined oils.
mm,
Very important because they refined it chemically. And when they
mm.
refine it chemically, we lose all the nutrition,
Mm,
and this is what is causing so much of hormonal imbalance. So for women, it's
mm.
very important that they don't use refined oil. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Mm,
kachapani is what we should get back to. And make sure that you're physically active throughout the day.
so what?
You know, whether you're doing 10,000 steps in a day or you're doing yoga, and please don't take stress.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think people have really loved the session today, Nidhi. We've been seeing comments from people saying fabulous tips and very good tips. So again, thank you so much. It's been such a wonderful conversation with you, and it's certainly opened my eyes to a lot of things. I mean, I didn't know keto diet was for kids facing certain
Yes, it
health
is.
challenges. It was a real eye opener, and so it's been really fabulous. Thank you so much. And
Thank you
I'm
so
sure
much.
nutrition is not something that can be covered in 1 hour. So we would really be glad to have you back sometime, maybe again on some other
Sure.
kind of topic. So wonderful, wonderful talking to you, Nidhi. Thanks a lot.
Same here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank
thank
you
you.
so much. It was
Thanks.
lovely being here.
Same here.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.